the plight of the immigrant worker, right? Our mission has always been to walk with those who are struggling in the low-wage industries to find justice for themselves and their families. It just so happens that a majority of those folks are people who are walking through a very difficult, burdensome, I would say draconian, and fundamentally broken immigration system. We have always understood also that we do the work of justice best in coalition. We are a small staff. Would my staff and interns raise their hands so everybody knows who they are? Like 80 people. But we work every day on really incredible campaigns to seek justice, but always in coalition, because it's one of the things that we understand about our faith, that we need a multiplicity of voices, talents, gifts, and wisdom to achieve the kind of justice that we're looking for. For the next 15 minutes or so, I've invited 3 guests to come who are part of partner organizations or closely related to our work, who are doing different kinds of work approaching immigration reform, doing work directly with immigrants, offering opportunities for chaplaincy and advocacy, and even working through a structure inside a denomination to give you a little glimpse of the possibilities of the ways that your local community can engage in this work, or that maybe even your institution might be willing to do that. The first person that I want to introduce you to is Wendy Tarr. Wendy Tarr is the Executive Director of CLU of Orange County. She has been working with CLU since 2006. In fact, she came on after her time at Fuller as an organizing fellow and planted the first seeds of the Orange County chapter. She grew up in South Florida, has a BA from Florida State University, has spent time in India, in Calcutta, living in a group and helping to rescue and provide job training opportunities to women who are victims of trafficking. She also grew up in the evangelical church and has a passion to help churches to understand the biblical call to justice and to actively participate in societal transformation and reconciliation in the larger community. Wendy also has a task of taking Orange County into the next, the next century, thank you.
Current century.
To wake up Orange County around the issues of worker and immigrant justice that are all around them. She has incredible leaders there who are doing incredible work, and her job is hard, and she does it really well. So I've asked her to come and talk a little bit about one program. They have a multitude of programs that they do that impact the lives of working people and immigrants, but one program with you today. Thank you, Wendy.
Thank you for the opportunity to be with you today. I wanted to share with you a little bit about the work that we've been doing in CLU. We're a multi-faith organization, but we have been engaging in specific efforts to engage unorganized faith constituencies in Orange County, and I've been working on a program to organize the evangelical community around immigration reform for the past 4 years. Our network is called the Loving the Stranger Network. Maybe we could have called it Philozenos, but Loving the Stranger is where we ended up. We started this network because we wanted to engage the white evangelical community in solidarity with immigrant communities within the evangelical world to be fighting for immigration reform. And we know that intimate solidarity and partnership was extremely important to make that happen. As we're able to bring people together in partnership, we ignite passion in non-immigrants for the plight. When you hear stories like Christians, and those are coming out of our churches as well, that brings passion to people for change. The partnership also brings hope in immigrant communities, and all of this is necessary to be able to build the type of broad and diverse network that we need to pass comprehensive immigration reform. Our organizing model is focused on we have a number of ways that we have been effectively organizing megachurch pastors and congregations, as well as small and large immigrant churches, Korean and Latino. We have information in the back about our program if you're interested in it. And our model started out with just bringing people together in common mission between immigrant and non-immigrant. We engaged in detention, visitation with children who have been apprehended by ICE and are awaiting their legal proceedings. And we've come alongside of congregations who are engaged in programs that they're already doing, right? Working in the community, doing tutoring. We know that this issue impacts our neighbors, and so we're trying to also raise the consciousness of people about the topic. And first of all, with the evangelical, it starts working with the text, with the scripture, with what does the Bible say. So, you know, the type of thing that Matthew was sharing this morning is extremely important for us as a starting point. But we also have to understand what's broken about the system so that we can be effective in advocating. So our model brings about congregational education through small group curriculum, and there's a small group curriculum in the back that we've been utilizing through one of our partners, World Relief, called, it's a 7-week curriculum, and it's fantastic. And also doing training and workshops and pastoral dialogues in our area. And of course, training people for legislative advocacy. One of the most exciting things that has come about, though, in the past year that I want to share with you is there's a national evangelical immigration table. And Orange County has the privilege of being one of the core members to launch that table because of the effectiveness of the work that we've been doing that now has over 50 congregations, including, I would guess, 8 megachurches in our area. And the National Immigration Table is so exciting because we have been able to bring about unity between the National Association of Evangelicals, the Southern Baptists, the National Hispanic Christian Leadership Council, the National Latino Evangelical Coalition, Sojourners, Esperanza, Bread for the World. We have a statement of principles that includes denominational across the board within the evangelical community, including Vineyard, the Evangelical Covenant Church, Assemblies of God. We have Denver Theological Seminary, Wheaton College. We have organizations like InterVarsity, Willow Creek, Navigators, World Vision, Lifeway Research that does those Bible stores. And this is something that we have over hundreds and hundreds of these names on our statement of principles. That really is actually the blueprint. It lines up with what's coming out of Congress as well, so it's really exciting. And I want to share with you just a video. It's 90 seconds, so it's pretty quick. So you can see what the momentum has looked like.
Take your inheritance. The kingdom prepared for you since the creation of the world.
For I was hungry, and you gave me food. I was thirsty, and you gave me drink.
I was a stranger, and you welcomed me.
I was a stranger.
I was a stranger.
I was a stranger.
Fui extranjero y me invitaron a su hogar.
I was a stranger, and you invited me in. I needed clothes, and you clothed me.
I was sick, and you visited me. I was in prison, and you came to me.
And the righteous will answer him, saying, Lord, when did we see you hungry and feed you?
Or thirsty and give you drink? And when did we see you a stranger and welcome you in, or needing clothes and clothe you? When did we see you sick or in prison and go to visit you? The king will reply, truly I tell you,
Wherever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me.
Then he will turn to those on his left and say, Depart from me, you who are cursed,
into the eternal fire prepared for the devil and his angels.
For I was hungry, and you gave me nothing.
I was thirsty, and you gave me nothing to drink.
I was a stranger, you did not invite me in.
I needed clothes. You did not clothe me.
I was sick and in prison. You did not look after me.
And then they also will answer, saying, Lord, when did we see you hungry, or thirsty, or a stranger, or naked, or sick, or in prison?
He will reply, truly, I tell you.
whatever you did not do for one of the least of these, you did not do for me.
And these will go away into eternal punishment, but the righteous into eternal life.
Sorry for the volume problem. I just wanted to show you that so you can see how far we've come. This video includes some of my leaders in Orange County only, but we're utilizing it throughout the country with a challenge called I Was a Stranger Challenge, and that video is intended to be utilized for pastors to show to their congregation to launch the challenge. And the challenge is a Bible reading plan. That's 40 scriptures. We are asking people to read one a day. And with a bookmark, and if you are interested, it can be utilized by anybody that's interested in looking at scripture from the Hebrew Bible and also into the New Testament. You can download it for free, evangelicalimmigrationtable.org, as well as see the statement and all of the things that entails. Another thing that we've been doing is working with college students called G92, looking at year G92, 92 times is that word been used in the Old Testament. So this is something that we're really excited about. I hope that you guys will look online and check it out. We're holding meetings with all of our elected officials, including the chair of the Republican Party next month, so please keep us in prayer as we continue to work with the evangelical community to move, for us, really a lot of our conservative electeds. A lot of momentum is happening, and we're really excited. Thank you.
Thank you all for inviting me to be here with you today. Every day, immigrants disappear from communities across the United States and are detained in county jails and for-profit prisons, just because they do not lack the proper documentation. But lacking proper documentation is not a crime, yet people are treated as if they have committed the most vicious of crimes. They are detained in county jails and in for-profit prisons. Over 400,000 people are detained annually. These are asylum seekers, victims of human trafficking, mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, people you sit next to in your church pews. My name is Christina Fiallo. I'm an attorney and the co-founder and executive director of CIVIC, which stands for Community Initiatives for Visiting Immigrants in Confinement. We are a national network of what we call community visitation programs, basically connecting community members to people in immigration detention for conversation. We offer a ministry of presence to end the isolation and abuse of men and women in immigration detention. There are approximately 250 immigration detention facilities across the country, and we operate 24 immigration detention visitation programs in 13 different states. But there's so much more work to do, especially here in California. There are 17 immigration detention facilities just in our state alone, and 14 of them are in Southern California. Two of the largest immigration detention facilities in the country are located in Southern California. One is in Orange County, Bayo Lacey facility, which you may have heard of recently because the Detention Watch Network labeled that facility one of the 10 worst immigration detention facilities in the country. Also, Adelanto Detention Facility. It's actually a for-profit prison run by a corporation called Geo Group, and it's up in Victorville in the high desert. And we are starting a visitation program at the Adelanto Detention Facility, and we're also working with Wendy and Clue of Orange County to hopefully start a visitation program at Bayo Lacey. I want to take just a few minutes to tell you a story about a woman who has become one of my close friends because of my ability to visit her when she was in immigration detention. She came before a judge. She was unrepresented because 84% of people in immigration detention lack attorney representation because there's no court-appointed right to an attorney. The judge called me because he knew about the work that we did and said, "Can you go visit her? Can you see, maybe if you could connect her to an attorney?" So I went and visited her, and her story was just horrific. She is originally from Brazil, and my family is originally from Portugal, so we have the Portuguese language in common. And she was trafficked, actually, from Brazil into Mexico first, where her captors broke her in. And then she was trafficked into Oakland, California, where she was chained to a bed for 3 years. She was sold for sex, and she was forced to take drugs. So she developed a drug addiction. One day, she was able to actually escape. And to this day, she's not even sure how it happened, how she was able to do it. But the police of Oakland found her on a street corner. And our government, instead of protecting this woman who had gone through hell on earth, they prosecuted her for the drug possession, and then she was immediately handed over to U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, where she spent over a year and a half in immigration detention. She was first held at the Yuba County Jail, which is in Northern California, out in Marysville, out in the middle of nowhere. She was, once she got accustomed to that facility, she was immediately transferred to the Sacramento County Jail, and then to the West County Detention Facility, and back and forth. She spent over a month in solitary confinement. One of the guards took away her mattress and forced her to sleep on the cement floor of her cell. But we ended her isolation and abuse. We connected her to a volunteer visitor who visited with her every week for over a year, made sure that she was connected to an attorney who actually was able to very recently get her a T visa, which is a visa for victims of human trafficking. And now she's out living in the community. She lives in South San Francisco, and she asked me to share her story with you today so that you can know what's really happening to people in this very isolating system. Thank you.